Your brain is amazing at having ideas, but terrible at storing them. You read something great, you forget it a week later, you have a brilliant idea in the shower, gone by lunch. A second brain fixes that. It's a digital system where you capture, organize, and retrieve everything you learn so nothing gets lost. By the end of this video, you'll know how to capture ideas, notes, articles, and resources from anywhere into one central place in Notion. You'll learn how to organize everything into a simple system with projects, areas of your life, resources, and an archive. No complicated folder structures, just 4 categories that cover everything. And you'll be able to find anything you've ever saved in seconds. Not minutes, not hours, seconds. All of this in Notion, all free, and I'm giving away the template at the end. Let's build it. The system we're building is based on something called PARA. It stands for Projects, Areas, Resources, and Archive. It was created by Tiago Forte, and it's the most popular way to organize a second brain. I'm going to simplify it so you can start using it today without reading an entire book about it. Here's the idea in 30 seconds. Projects are things you're actively working on that have a deadline, like recording a YouTube video or finishing a course. Areas are ongoing parts of your life that don't have a deadline, like health, finances, or career. Resources are things you want to reference later, articles, book notes, tutorials, ideas. An archive is where finished projects and old stuff goes, so it doesn't clutter your active workspace. 4 categories. Everything you'll ever capture fits into one of them. All right, let's build this. I'm creating a new page in Notion. I'll call it Second Brain and add a brain emoji as the icon. Below the title, a quick description. Capture, organize, find anything. That's the promise of this whole system. Now I'll add a call out at the top as a reminder. I'll type /, search for call out, and write, use the inbox to capture quickly, organize later. This is important because the #1 reason people stop using a system like this is that they try to organize things perfectly the moment they capture them. Don't. Just throw it in the inbox and sort it later. Now I'll add a divider to separate the intro from the actual system. Below this is where the 4 sections of PARA will live. Let's start with the most important one. First, the inbox. This is your capture zone. Anything that pops into your head, anything you read that's interesting, any link you want to save, it all goes here first. No thinking, no organizing, just capture. Let me create a heading called Inbox with a little tray emoji, and below it, an inline table. This table only needs 2 properties to start. The name, which is whatever you're capturing, and a type field, so I can tag what kind of thing it is. Let me set up the type as a select field. I'll create the options one by one. Idea, for random thoughts and concepts. Note, for something I wrote or learned. Link, for articles or websites I want to save. Quote, for passages from books or podcasts. And task, for things I need to do that came up randomly. 5 types, that's all you need. Let me show you what a real inbox looks like. I'll add a few entries. First, an app idea I had the other day, habit tracker for couples. I'll tag it as idea, then an article I found about how to learn faster, that's a link. Buy a birthday gift for mom, that's a task. A quote I heard, we are what we repeatedly do, tagged as quote, and some notes I took from a podcast on productivity, tagged as note. 5 different things, 5 different types, all captured in under a minute. The point is speed. When something comes to you, you open this inbox, type it in, tag it, and move on with your day. You'll organize it later during your weekly review. The inbox is the secret weapon of this whole system. Without it, you'll try to figure out where something belongs the moment you capture it, get overwhelmed, and eventually stop capturing anything at all. The inbox removes that friction completely. Capture first, organize later. Next section, projects. Remember, projects are things with a deadline that you're actively working on. Let me add a divider, a heading called projects with a target emoji, and create another inline table. Now I need a few properties. First, status. I'll add a select field with 3 options. Active for things I'm working on right now, on hold for things I've paused, and done for completed projects. Next, deadline, just a date field so I know when things are due. An area which connects this project to a part of my life. I'll create a select with 4 options. Work, personal, learning, and health. Let me create each one. Work, personal, learning, health. This is useful because later I can filter and see all my work projects or all my personal projects separately. Let me add some real projects. YouTube channel, that's active, deadline end of June, area work, learn Spanish, active, Deadline end of the year because I'm giving myself time, area learning. Renovate kitchen. This one is on hold because I'm not ready to start yet. No deadline, area personal. Build Notion, templates, active, deadline May 15th, area work, and run a half marathon, active, deadline September, area health. 5 projects across different areas of my life. When I look at this table, I can immediately see what's active, what's waiting, and how my time is distributed. If everything is under work and nothing is under health, that tells me something about my priorities. Let me add a board view grouped by status. Now I can see active projects, on hold, and done in columns. As projects finish, I drag them to done, and eventually I'll move them to the archive. Clean and simple. Quick pause. If this system's making sense to you, hit subscribe. I post Notion tutorials every single week. All right, back to building. 2 more sections to go. Section 3, areas. These are the ongoing parts of your life that don't have a deadline. They're always running in the background. I'm keeping this simple, no database needed, just subpages. Let me type /select page and create 4 areas. Work with a briefcase icon, personal with a house, learning with a book, and health with a flexed arm. Each of these is a page where I can dump related information. Meeting notes go under work, recipe ideas go under personal, course notes go under learning, workout plans go under health. Let me open work and add a quick structure inside. Active goals, grow YouTube channel to 100 subscribers, launch template store, and a section for meeting notes. This doesn't need to be fancy. It's just a place where work-related stuff lives. Over time, these pages fill up naturally as you add notes, links, and ideas. The structure grows with you instead of being something you need to design perfectly up front. A quick note on the difference between projects and areas, because people always get confused. A project has a deadline and an endpoint. Build a website, done. An area is ongoing, it never ends. Career, health, relationships. Projects live inside areas, but areas keep going even when all the projects are done. Section 4, resources. This is your personal library. Everything you want to reference later lives here. Book notes, interesting articles, tools you've discovered, courses you're taking, videos worth rewatching. Let me create the database. I'll add a heading called resources with a books emoji and an inline table below. For properties, I need category first. This is a select field. Books for book summaries and notes, articles for anything I've read online, tools for apps and software I use or want to try, courses for online courses and tutorials, and videos for YouTube videos or talks worth saving. Let me create each one. Books, articles, tools, courses, videos. Next, source. This is just a text field where I paste the URL or write where I found something. If it's a book, I write the author's name. If it's an article, I paste the link. Simple reference so I can find the original if I need to. And then tags. This is the first time I'm using multi-select instead of regular select. The difference is that I can assign multiple tags to one entry. An article about productivity tools gets both productivity and tech tags. Let me create the tag options: productivity, finance, health, tech, creativity. 5 broad tags that cover most topics. I can always add more later as my library grows. Let me add some real entries. First, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Category books, source James Clear, tagged productivity. Then a YouTube video on how to use Notion databases. Category videos, I'll paste a URL as the source and tag it productivity and tech. See how multi-select lets me add 2 tags? An article about the best free design tools in 2026. Category articles, tagged tech and creativity. A Python for beginners course on Udemy. Category courses, tagged tech, and Notion itself as a tool I use. Category tools, tagged productivity, and tech. 5 entries, all different types, all searchable and filterable. In 6 months, this library will have 50 or 100 entries, and you'll be able to find anything instantly. Let me add a board view grouped by category. Now I can see all my books in one column, all my articles in another, all my tools together. It's like having a personal library organized by shelf. As this grows, this view becomes incredibly valuable. Last section, the archive. This one is intentionally simple. It's just a heading and a note that says, move finished projects and old resources here. The archive is where things go when they're done or no longer relevant. That YouTube video project you finished, drag it here. That article from 2 years ago you'll never read again, archive it. The point is to keep your active workspace clean and focused. A lot of people skip the archive and just delete old stuff. Don't do that. You never know when a finished project might become relevant again, or when old notes might connect to a new idea. The archive isn't a trash can, it's a storage room. Out of sight, but not gone. Now, the system only works if you maintain it, and the way you maintain it is with a weekly review. Once a week, maybe Sunday evening with a coffee, you go through your inbox and move each item to where it belongs. An idea goes to resources, a task goes to projects, a note goes under the right area, then you check your projects, update statuses, and archive anything that's done. That's it. The whole review takes 10 to 15 minutes, and it's the habit that makes the difference between a system that works and a system you abandoned after 2 weeks, 10 minutes a week to keep your second brain alive. That's a pretty good deal. So here's your complete second brain, an inbox to capture everything fast, projects to track what you're working on, areas for the ongoing parts of your life, resources as your personal library, and an archive to keep things clean. 5 sections, 1 page, 0 overwhelm. If you want this exact setup without building it from scratch, the template is free in the description. Duplicate it, start capturing, and do your first weekly review this Sunday. That's all it takes to get started. Check out my other Notion tutorials right here, and let me know in the comments, what's the first thing you'd capture in your second brain? I'm curious. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.